Hi crocheters of the world, in this tutorial I want to present you this little project, this little sack that can be used as a cell phone cover or as a sack. If you want to make it a little bit longer, you can just use it as a eyeglasses sack, or as I want to use it, if you want to, because it's like this without the inner cover. This is the inner cover that I made, and like cell phone cover it's better like this without the inner cover because it's more, I don't know, interesting, more, it's the pattern. But if you want to use it as I said, I want to use it as a sack for to put in your closet or wardrobe, like with lavender, dry lavender. I like to put in my closet little sack like this with dry lavender. I'm like a little bit traditionalist. I don't like chemical perfumes, so I think it's great, and you can use it in this purpose too. So as I promised into the tutorial that I made about the stitch, this stitch, lion's foot flower stitch, I promised you a sack or a cell phone cover, and also to show you how to work this stitch in rounds. And that's it. Here it is, my project. Hope you enjoy it, and now I let you at the tutorial. So let's get started with our project, with our cell phone cover, with the lion's foot flower pattern. Okay, now to begin we need 4 clusters and 4 loops, 4 spaces actually. So 1, 2, 3. We always begin, as I said, with in the tutorial where I present you the stitch, with a loop, and this is our first loop. Then chain 3 again, and the first cluster, 1 and 2, triple crochets. Okay, I will not explain you the stitch in this tutorial. I just want to explain you how to work it in rounds and how to complete the project. So for the tutorial you have you can watch the lion's foot flower pattern or stitch actually, and you'll see how to work it. So we need 4 clusters and 4 spaces. So this we have 1 and 1, then again chain 3 and into the 3rd chain from the hook, insert the hook and make an double crochet, then chain 3 again and the cluster, 1 and 2. Okay, I go on like this for 8 items, so 4 clusters and 4 loops. Okay, so now that I made a mistake first, because I said 8 in total, and there are 8 and 8, so 8 clusters and 8 loops, spaces, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 loops, as you can see. Okay, let us zoom in a little bit. And 8 clusters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we need 8 and 8 because now we will join, as with all kind of work that, or all kind of project that we working around is worked in round. We will join, and we need for this little cover, cell cover or sack, or I don't know, we need exactly the same number from on one side and on the other side. So we'll have 4 and 4. Okay. As I said before, now I am not wasting my time to explain the stitch. So if you want, if you don't know the stitch, you can go to the tutorial lion's foot flower stitch or pattern, I don't know, stitch, I think so. It's lion's foot flower, and you will see how to work this stitch. Now I just make the project. Okay, now let us continue on. So now we want to, as I said, now we want to, oops, okay, we just want to join, and we have to pay attention that all our stitches, all our clusters are with the right face, like this. Okay, it's very important. As we begin with a long chain, it's very important that all chains are with the right face. Now slip stitch to join, as you normally did, and here we have our first round. And now we have to work as we did with the normal stitch. Into our first loop we'll work 2 petals. Okay, so skip directly into your first loop with a slip stitch and work a chain of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this will be our first triple crochet. Now let us work 2 more, 1 and 2. Okay, and here we have our first cluster or our first petal. Now chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the next petal or cluster into the same loop. So 3, the cluster of 3 triple crochets. Here we have chain 1 to secure and skip into your next loop, which is here. Okay, here. Now skip into your next loop and work the first petal. 1, 2, or the first cluster, and 3. Close them together and chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then again work the second cluster or petal into the same loop. So 1, 2 and 3, and close them together. Now here we have our petals, our flowers, half of them that come to begin to shape. Okay, now yarn over twice and skip into the next loop and work 2 petals, as we did in our as I did in the tutorial where I explain you the stitch. Then chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and work the second petal of the same into the same loop, and 3. Okay. And we continue on all around until we get into the last, until we get the last loop. Okay, so go on. As I finished my first, to complete my first 4 loops with the 2 petals and the chain 6 in between. As I go on, I want to create the bottom part of my cell phone cover, and that's why I will show you how. So we will want to join into the 6 space, chain 6 space. Let me show you, it's easier. So insert your hook into the first loop, into the next, into the 5th loop actually, and work the first cluster or petal. Okay, now chain 3, and now we have to join, and I will join into my first chain here. Can you see it here? So insert your hook and join with a slip stitch, then chain 3 again and back to your loop to complete with your second cluster, second petal. 2, 3. Okay. Now skip into the next loop and work your first petal, your first cluster of this loop. 2, 3, close, chain 1 and then chain 3, and I want to join with the next chain 6 space on the other side. Okay, so let's join and chain 3 again to create, as I said, the bottom part. Then back and work your cluster of 3 triple crochets. Now skip, yarn over twice and skip into the next loop and work your first cluster of this loop. 1, 2, 3. Then chain 3, and now we have 2 chain 6 spaces to join into the second, actually. Join with a slip stitch and chain 3 again. Then back, yarn over twice and back into the same loop to complete with the, oops, what I have here, to complete with the second, actually, last second, with the second cluster. Here I am. Now skip into the last loop, which is here, and as we go, can you see it? We have the bottom part, and this is our bottom part. Okay, that's why I want 4 and 4, because I need to create this bottom part by join them together. Join the 4 and 4, 6, chain 6 spaces. Okay, now, as I said, into the next loop and the last, oops, it slips, work the first cluster, 1. Maybe it's a little bit strange and difficult to understand, but I hope you will understand. Now chain 3 again and join with the last chain 6 space, and then chain 3 and back into the same loop and work your cluster. What the hell? It's okay, sorry. 2 and 3. Okay, now here we are, and we have, can you see what we have here? This is the bottom part. It's okay. Now what we have to do now is to join with the first petal, as we did into the original pattern. So that pattern that I showed you worked in rows. Okay, so here, this is my first petal, my first cluster made, and here on the top of this I will insert my hook and slip stitch to join, and now I can say I am ready with the first part and the most difficult part. Okay, so now here I have the bottom part of my sack, of my cover of my, I don't know. And now what I want to do is to work on the opposite side, so to complete my first round. And now we have to, as I said, to complete our flowers on the upper side, on the other side. Okay, but we are here, so we are, oh, I'm really sorry that I began this video with this dark brown. Hope you understand. But I'm here, as you can see, on the corner of my bottom side. So what I have to do, I have to begin here in this loop. So I will chain 4, 3, 4, and I will skip actually 5 better. Okay, and I will, as you can see, oops, I will insert my hook into this loop and make a slip stitch. And now, yes, and now I am ready to continue, so to complete the upper part of my first round. So chain 4 and 2 triple crochets for the first petal, then chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and into the same loop work one more cluster, not 2 because we need a total of 2, so one more cluster. Okay, and skip into the next loop, which is here. Yarn over twice, skip into the next loop, and complete with 2 clusters, 2 petal clusters, as I can say like this. Chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and work the second cluster into the same loop. 1, 2, 3, and close your cluster with a chain 1 to secure. Skip into the next loop, which is this one. yarn over twice, of course, because we always skip with a triple crochet, and go on to complete chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and go on to complete your second side of this first round. As you can see, the versatility of this stitch. Okay, now the next loop, 2 petals, so 2 clusters, 1 and 2 and 3 triples, join together, 3, 4, 5, 6, chain 6, and again 1 cluster, 1, 2 and 3. So here we are, 4 flowers, lion's foot flowers. I named it like this stitch because I thought it's similar, really similar to the lion's foot flower. If you don't know how it looks, the lion's foot flower, you can search on Google. You can search lion's foot flower images and you'll see. I think it looks similar when it's opened, because when it's closed, the flower, you see, it's not very similar, but when it's opened, I don't know, for me it's really similar. Okay, now continue on with next 4 flowers, complete the petals. Okay, I am ready, and I just want to show you how to finish, really. Join into the first cluster that you made, that with the chain 4 and 2 trebles, insert your hook and slip stitch to join, and now cut the yarn and change your color. Okay, and now we'll go out from the dark into the light. Sorry, it wasn't really a very good idea to begin with this dark brown. Okay, now this is what we have, and I just want to measure it so you can create an idea. So it's about 9 centimeters, about 9, and so yes, we can say now 9, sorry, 9 centimeters. So you can figure out a little bit about the project. And I think I said I'm working this project with my number 5 thread, cotton thread, and my number 1 hook, or 1.9 millimeters hook. So if you want it smaller, you can just change the number of the cotton and of course the number of the hook. Okay, now for the next we begin again with our, okay, I will use this. We begin again with our 8 loops and 8 clusters. So chain 3, yarn over and into the 3rd chain from your hook, work a double crochet, this is our first loop, then chain 3 again and yarn over twice into the loop, work 2 trebles for 2 triples, for the first cluster and go on like this until you'll have 4 and 4, because as we go on we will join together at the bottom part, of course. So I have my 8 clusters and my 8 loops, 8 pairs I can say, so 8 cluster and a loop together make a pair, so 8 pairs ready. Now I can just insert my hook into my first chain to join, as I did before, of course. Join, and now I am ready to work my first 2 petals, or my first 2 clusters into my first loop here. So slip stitch into this loop, chain 4, and work 2 more triples for the first cluster petal, then chain 3, 4, 5, 6, and into the same loop the second petal cluster, 2 and 3. Okay, now skip into the next loop and go on like this. You can choose to join with the bottom part into this, on this side, or on the other side, so it's really doesn't matter. 3, 4, 5, 6 if you want to. So I will join into when I will work my other side of the pattern, because you know we just have to join here on the chain 6 spaces. Okay, go on with your petals, complete this part, this side of petals, and I'll be back to show you how to continue on. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll be back to show you how to continue on, of course. So I am just going a little bit faster because the stitch is already known by now. Okay, I have 3. So I completed my first part, my first side, and now I want to join into on the top of my first cluster here with a slip stitch, and I want to begin the other side here in this loop, and I will make the same thing. I will chain 5 and insert my hook into this loop where I want to begin, and here I am ready to begin my next side. And now I want to join with my bottom part, so chain 4 and work your first 3, first cluster, then chain 3, only 3, because as I said we want to join. So insert your hook into the first chain 6 and join with a slip stitch, and then chain 3 again and complete with your next, sorry, like this, and complete with your next petal cluster. 1, 2, and 3. Close the cluster with a chain 1 and skip into the next loop to work two petals, your next two petals. So this is the first, then chain 3, 3, and again we want to join into the next chain 6 space and to continue the pattern. So chain 3 again and work your one, two, three. Cluster. And here it is. Now we have to go on and complete this round and joining into every chain 6 space here. So skip into the next loop and work your first petal cluster, 3, then chain 3 and into the next chain 6 space of the bottom part of the brown part, slip stitch to join, and then chain 3 again and back into the same loop to work your last petal or second petal, 3. Now again into the next loop, work your first petal, then chain 3 and into the next chain 6 space here, join and chain 3 and back to the loop to complete with the second cluster petal, 2 and 3. Okay, now skip into the next loop and work your first petal cluster, 2, 3, then chain 3 and join with the next chain 6 space, which is here. With a slip stitch, then chain 3, and we can go back and complete with the second petal. Okay, now we have 3 more flowers to complete. 1, 2, 3 triple crochets for the first cluster, chain 3 and join into the next chain 6 space of the bottom part, then chain 3 again and back to complete with the second cluster petal. Then again 1, 2, 3. Okay, chain 3 and insert your hook into the next chain 6 space of the bottom part, slip stitch to join and chain 3 again, back into the same loop to complete with your second petal or cluster or petal cluster or anyway. And now the last loop, and we have the last chain 6 here to join. 1, 2 and 3. Then chain 3, join into this last chain 6 of the bottom part with a slip stitch, then chain 3 again and go back to complete with your last petal cluster, 2 and 3. Okay, so like this. Now we have to join with the beginning cluster here, with this one on the top of this first cluster made with a slip stitch. Okay, now we can cut the yarn and here we are. If you don't want to cut the yarn and you want to continue on, you have to chain 5 and go back. It's a little bit difficult. And now we have, I can say, 3/4 ready. Isn't it beautiful? You can also make a purse or a bag, really, a sack bag. Really nice. Of course you need more than 8 flowers here, 4 and 4, but you need a even number of flowers. So if it's not 8, it can be 10 or 12 or 14 or like this. Okay, now for the last one we'll begin into the same manner. So we'll make our 8 loops and 8 clusters to begin, and then we'll go on into the same manner. I think it's already it's already clear. So I finished my last group of clusters and loops, 8 clusters, 8 loops, and now, as I did before, into the first loop, oops, slip stitch, chain 4, and begin with your first petal. Only 2 triples because we have the chain 4. And now I just want to show you that you can chain 3 and you can just if you want, you can see little tail here. You can join into the first, completing the first side, not only the second. Is not important actually. So you can join 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now skip into the next loop and work your cluster 3, chain 3, and join into the next chain 6 space, chain 3, and back into the same loop to complete with the second petal. 3. Okay. Now go on, finish this part, and I will show you how to complete all. So I complete my first part. You can see, I joined into every chain 6 space, and now I'm here and I want to begin my next round here, up, and I want to show you again, chain 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just insert your hook into the first loop and slip stitch, then chain 3, 4, and you are ready to go on and to complete your last round of lion's foot flower stitch. Chain 6, 4, 5, 6, and another petal here into the same loop, and okay, now we have our first flower completed, and go on until the end. And then I will show you how to put a border and to put a closure to your little sack, little cell phone cover. It's really elegant, isn't it? So you can use any kind of color combination, and I hope you will enjoy this project. And as you can see, we work a part with the right side and a part with the wrong side. Can you see it? This is with the right side and this actually will be with the wrong side. And this is something that I invented. So I invented myself this technique in order to work this stitch in rounds and to create actually this project. And I just want to make a purse too, because I don't know, I like it, really like it. Okay, I'll be back. Now I finished the cover, cell cover. Here it is. I want to measure the height 2, and it's 11, but okay, it can be, it's really elastic because we have these spaces that let a really good kind of elasticity, kind of play here. Okay, now as I said, it's 11 centimeters, and to finish the project, really finish the project, we can put a really nice border. For the border I will use the dark brown again, but it's okay now, it's not difficult to. So I will insert my hook in between two petals, not into the chain 6 space, but in between the two petals, two flowers actually. Okay, here. And I will chain 1. Then skip into the first chain 6 space and work 1, 2, 3 single crochet, then a picot. I love picots, really love picots for borders. They're so nice. Then again 1, 2, 3 and a picot, chain 3 picot, oops, please. Then again 3 single crochets, 2, oops, I want to work the tails too, so 1, 2, 3 and another picot, and again 1, 2, oops, come on, and 3, and in between the two petals here a slip stitch. Okay, and that's it. So again 1, 2, 3 single crochets and a chain 3 picot, then again 3 single crochets and chain 3 picot, and again 3 single crochets and chain 3 picot, oops, and our last 3 single crochets, 1, so actually we have 12 single crochets and 3 picots. In between the petals a slip stitch and skip into the next chain 6 space with the same thing. Okay, so go on like this and you'll finish with this nice border. I finished the border too. Insert your hook into the first chain 1 made and slip stitch to join and cut your yarn. Secure knot, and here it is. And to close the cell phone cover or sack, I made 2 laces. It's a chain 100 lace, and just look. Okay, I need another Okay, I will begin here. So I have 4 and 4, so oops, come on, you can do it. So into the last round of flowers I will try to insert like this, and again on the back side, front side, and back side, and front side, and back side, and front side. Okay, now this is one, and I just want to make a knot to close actually here with the tails that we have. Oops, okay. Pull tight 2 or 3 times. Okay, now we can cut the yarn. And the second, I will put it here. So from the back side, this is the first. Okay. And now into the same round, so of flowers, last round of flowers, okay, as you can see. Oops, go on, come on, come on, please don't, look. Like this. Okay, here I have my sack ready, and you see it's really easy to close and to open it with these two. Okay, so hope you enjoy this little project, and see you next time at my next tutorial. Bye bye.